you mentioned one thing, you trust them, and that's freaking fantastic, and we all should do that. But how about when there's situations, and I had the situation right before the summer started, where my oldest one had like a school party, end of the year school party, and had all these beautiful different, like, what do you call them, air castles.
Yep, bouncy castles.
Bouncy castles, that's it. And they're all different kinds. However, there was also a lot older kids, and they were kind of dominating the bouncy castle. But of course, our kid wants to be on there as well, and he got hurt, and nobody was paying attention a lot, especially the people that were supposed to pay attention weren't doing a very good job. So how do you deal with that as a parent? Like, where does the protective part come in, or do you just still let him find his own limits? And because as a parent, or at least if I search my own feelings, and I didn't respond at that time when it happened, but you still feel that urge of, you want to say something to the other bigger kid, you want to jump in there and rescue your own. What's your experience in there, or how do you handle these kind of situations?
I suppose it's different with Bear and with Rain. So if Rain's on, using that example, if Rain's jumping up and down on the bouncy castle, and some other children go on there and they're jumping around, and it's just that they're bigger and they're jumping and they're having heaps of fun, and Rain just ends up getting splashed around. If I can go and sit on it myself and just play around with him, that's fine. What I tend to do in that situation is they've always got that small little foot part leading up to it, so I can hold his hands and bounce around. So the fact that the bigger kids are there jumping around, and they're not looking out for the fact that there's an 18-month-old on there, I see that as my issue. It's definitely not two other children that have just gone on the bouncy castle because they just want to bounce around and have fun. So that's how I'd handle it that side. If Bear was on it and he's jumping around with them, it's all the same age, and they're getting more and more boisterous, which is what Bear does, and then he gets upset. Michelle's so much better than me. So this is what I'm really, really learning from her, even from Bear. I used to go for the distraction technique. So if Bear's getting really upset, I'd grab him out and run around, pull some faces, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Michelle will chat to him a lot more, which is what I do now. Understand the feelings. Did he get hurt? Where does it hurt? What do you want to do? Do you want to go back on? Do you want to have some fun again? And he'd always go back on and have some more fun again, and then repeat. If it gets too much, then I'd ask him if he wants to just go and take himself away from it. If there were kids, so I would definitely not speak to the kids because they're all just bouncing around having fun. If you got some kids on there that were pushing and shoving and taking it a little bit far, so verging on bullying, Bear's now confident enough that in that situation he'll often ask him to stop, because what they're doing is not nice. If at that point they continue to do it, it could go one or two ways. Bear has been known to push back a little bit, not very often. He'd probably get upset more than anything. He has a lot of empathy, just like Michelle. So he'd break down and be upset at that point. So at that point, as collecting him, I'd then just have a word with the kid and just say, "But it's not very nice. You just upset my boy. If you just don't want, next time kids come on there, probably not push them around. Just enjoy your jumping around. But just try and address it in that way. It's not for me to try and help them grow up, I guess, and help them understand what they're doing. That one little snippet's really not going to change a great deal, but if Bear knows what to do in certain situations, and again, that's a learning one. He's gaining more and more confidence in that setting. He's from the homeschooling. He has friends of lots of different ages. He's not confined to a set group of kids, and he's not going to school for the next 5 or 6 years with the same group of friends. So we're quite fortunate. If there was a group of people that we didn't like or Bear didn't like, we can take him out of that and we can go and join another group, so you don't have to worry about that situation so much. But with the things like boxing, with the things like karate, he's learning self-control and some discipline. And he used to be very, I'm not a shouter. I rarely raise my voice. Michelle, she knows how to use her voice very effectively. And Bear's now beginning to learn to use his voice a bit more. Because all the time you're literally taking it. So he can shout and say stop. Doesn't always stop, but that's how we can do it. Certainly, yeah, I know what it's like. I saw your video you put on I think it was yesterday, was it, when you were getting angry?
Yeah, that was a
I
different
think
situation.
I get more disappointed in certain situations where it's just the reason they're being like that's for, I don't know if it's attention. You don't know the reasons really, but he's found his voice. He's using it a lot more. He knows how to take himself away from situations. Sometimes the whole thing gets overwhelming, and then it's about comforting, helping him to understand the emotions, and not sweeping it aside. Really, literally just chatting to him, really understanding it historically. And if it wasn't for Michelle, I'd have definitely I'd have been the old school classic. Come on, you've got a manner. Nothing to cry about here. It's like, there's plenty to cry about. I've just been pushed around in a bouncy castle, and they won't let me get back on my feet. What are you talking about? It's that kind of thing.
Mm.
So yeah, definitely, that's the route I'd go down with that now. Easier said than done, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what you're getting at. But that's, yeah, very powerful, very good for us fathers to realize, because for some reason we still want to be so manly, you know. Get hurt. Fuck up. Come on, you. What are you talking about? You're,
Do you know,
you're
I think
5 or 6. Let's go, man. You gotta man up and handle this like a man. Like, dude, he's 5. That's why.
you hear it all the time when Bear was doing his running race. It was you could hear, "What are you doing, slowing down?" Like, and Bear's just running around, high fiving, he's enjoying every minute. Other kids are like getting to the finish line, feeling emotionally beaten up. Meeting Jiggy was one of the best things. I mean, that whole vulnerability is dope movement. That's what it's all about. So it really is just letting your guard down and just exploring the emotions you're feeling at that time.
Exactly, absolutely.
Definitely learning.
Well, I definitely explored my emotions, and since you just mentioned about the video, of course, was a little bit different. What had happened was last Thursday in the morning, my son was playing rough with one of his classmates. They were rolling on the floor, and all of a sudden, the father was on the school property, and he was yelling like absolute maniac to my kid. And I didn't understood at that moment what he had said. I didn't find it out until later when I spoke to the mom. But apparently he had said that if my son would do that again, he would hit him. So it was a good thing I didn't hear it, but I did hear him screaming, and my son was just standing all of a sudden just still. I was very happy it didn't, as far as I could see, touch him very emotionally, like he was shocked at like what the heck happened, but he didn't cry, which sometimes happens. So that made me happy. I think, I'm not sure yet. I'm still trying to analyze, how to deal with this for him. So yeah, I applied the technique we learned from DG, the deep breathing, 4 in, 4 stop, and out, and 4 holding again, and let it go. But yeah, that was an interesting situation that we're still working on. Let's see where it goes. It ended up going to the teacher. So let's see what she said. She was going to talk to him. Let's see what's going on. In the end, it's also what you say. You have to look at the emotions, what's going on. But it's not in that case, our emotions or the emotions of our son. It's also the emotion of the other person. And it's not easy being a single father. Having no job in a position that he's in. So sometimes it's a little empathy, and I know it's not right what he did, but yeah.
Yeah, there could have been a million and one reasons why he was doing that. You never know what's going on in people's lives, do you? But equally, it can make you pretty angry. I'll definitely have a chat with him at some point if you can. But
yeah, I'm thinking about that.
Next. At that time, it wouldn't have been right, but that's just exactly. Not. There's a point where that behaviour is just not acceptable, is it?
No, absolutely. So he has his son 1 week, and the other son, his ex-wife. So I got to wait a week, which is good. Then we're all relaxed. And then the week after that, I'm going to shake his hand and have a little talk, see how it goes. Cool. Hopefully well. Hey, man, I hope you got all the information out of it that you were looking for. If so, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you hit the bell, then every time we come out with a new video, you will be informed. For now, thanks for listening, and I hope to see you soon.